Hi, my name is Caleb and I'm a fourth-year student here at TRU majoring in theater. We posted a video a while ago where Emily shared her favorite things about Kamloops. I'm here today to talk to you about my favorite things to do in Kamloops while physically distancing. We get a lot of questions about Kamloops, specifically what there is to do here. I'm here to talk about all the great things that come with living and studying in a smallish city and what I like most about living in Kamloops. By now, we should all be familiar with what the health experts are recommending: visiting outdoors, maintaining a safe distance from others, and sticking to a small social bubble. Well, we can do all that here in Kamloops, so let's go. Let's start with the population. There are a little over 90,000 people living here in Kamloops, and while you won't find the hustle and bustle of a large city center like Vancouver or Calgary, it does mean that fresh air and outdoor activities are more accessible for you, your bubble, and everyone else. The city of Kamloops has over 60 parks listed on their website, which means that no matter where you are in the city, chances are you're near a park. Take a walk, relax and read a book, or watch the ridiculous dogs run around at one of the many dog parks. It's important to note that Riverside Park, MacArthur Island Park, and the Rivers Trail all have fully paved loops and sections for people to enjoy. If you're into outdoor adventures and sports, then Kamloops is the right place for you. There are extensive hiking, nature, paddling and fishing lakes, and mountain biking trail networks that allow more than enough space for enjoying the great outdoors and keeping a safe physical distance from others. For more on all things recreation and outdoors, be sure to visit tourismkamloops.ca. They're the experts. Which brings me to the next important piece about Kamloops. We are in Canada. We do have seasons here. For fall semester, look forward to beautiful fall landscapes, nice warm days with cooler evenings. It starts dropping to freezing by the end of fall. Transitioning to winter semester, expect snow and cold in January and February. In the valley, head into the mountains and it gets even colder. Remember, many of the outdoor recreation areas remain open throughout the winter months. If you're willing to layer up, you can still get outside and get some vitamin D. Good news is, all cold things come to an end, and the final part of winter semester is quite pleasant as springtime rolls around in March. If you're lucky enough to live and study here year-round, you get to experience Kamloops in the summer. It gets pretty hot. Temperatures reach more than 30 degrees Celsius, and the days are long. But now let's get back to things to do. If golfing is your thing, or you just want to see how far you can hit them at the driving range, we've got that too. Kamloops has 11 golf courses in the vicinity, from luxury to local. There's also a free mini golf course at MacArthur Island Park. Bring your own putter and golf balls. And there are 2 excellent disc golf courses that are free to use. Another perk of being here is that it doesn't take long to get away from city light pollution. You can drive about 15 to 20 minutes and view breathtaking cosmic events like comets, meteor showers, northern lights if you're lucky, and general stargazing. And we have an observatory on campus that sometimes opens for special astronomical events like a lunar eclipse. On your first visit to our downtown core, you'll notice many vibrant murals. We even have a back alley mural tour which showcases the best outdoor artwork downtown. This tour is self-guided, so you can check it out anytime that works for you. There's also the Downtown Heritage Walking Tour and the Public Art Walking Tour. Many of our museums, galleries, and movie theaters have been able to reopen safely during the pandemic. With safety protocols in mind, the public is welcome to enjoy the Kamloops Art Gallery, the Kamloops Museum and Archives, and the Kamloops Film Society. They even made a pop-up drive-in movie theater. I volunteered there this summer. Take, for instance, the Kamloops Art Gallery's biannual Luminosity Outdoor Video Public Art Exhibition. Artists from across the country contribute work and install them in public spaces around the city. You can catch a tour or take a self-guided trip around the town. Spending time outdoors is important for our mental and physical health. Our campus spans 250 hectares and there's plenty of green space to enjoy, including our beautiful horticulture garden. Look closely in the fall semester and you'll notice fruit trees, wild strawberries, and other edible goodies hidden around campus. But you'll have to get there before the deer. Hey, wait a minute, these are deer prints. The deer ate this corn! During winter, our hard-working grounds crew clears snow from the main walkways, so you are able to stroll around the campus. This pandemic has shown us the true value of our world-renowned BC provincial parks. If you've got a free weekend and the will to sleep under the stars, camping is extremely accessible in Kamloops. Paul Lake and Lac Lejeune are 2 of the bigger nearby provincially maintained campgrounds. Beyond those 2, there are countless provincial and privately owned parks, so take your pick for a weekend getaway or a day trip to shake up the routine. Another classic Canadian adventure is found in the mountains, skiing. There's an extensive cross-country ski trail network, a world-renowned ski resort called Sun Peaks, and a local ski hill called Harper Mountain. It can be hard to meet friends in a new city, but don't worry, the TRU Student Union is here for you. TRU has more than 70 student interest clubs. The total varies year by year, and many of them are connecting with members virtually, or like in the case of the TRU Adventure U Club, by physically distant outdoor activities. And if you're a gamer, TRU Wolfpack Athletics launched an esports league. It's open to everyone in the TRU community and accessible from anywhere in the world. Community groups have also adapted and are determined to facilitate connection. Kamloops Pride usually hosts in-person events, but are keeping the gatherings going virtually. And finally, TRU is committed to supporting students. The Faculty of Student Development hosts regular Instagram and Facebook Live sessions with wide-ranging, helpful topics. Other essential student services like counseling, health and wellness, academic supports, diversity and equity, and career and experiential learning are all delivering their services in their own unique way, virtually or otherwise. Being a fourth-year theater student at TRU, I'm very grateful that the Actors Workshop Theater is still able to put on productions during the pandemic. So as you can see, TRU is a pretty great place to be, and so is Kamloops. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. And until next time, I've been Caleb, and this is TRU.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? If somebody can just confirm in the chat. My audio has been acting a little bit weird this morning. If you can hear me, if you can just confirm that in the chat, that would be great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Nice to see you all here today. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Suraj, and I work as the Associate Director of Marketing and Recruitment at Thompson Rivers University at TRU World. And today I'm here with my friends and colleagues, Milap Dadlani and Assetou Coulibaly, and we will be chatting with them today in this session and learning from their TRU experience. And hopefully, you will have an opportunity to talk to them directly after we're done with some of the questions that we have in mind already. So we'll probably, start the session right away without wasting any further time. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. This will be maximum an hour long session, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make the fullest of it. I know many of you are future students, and you will be in Kamloops soon, and this will be a really good session for you to learn from our alumni experiences and help you kickstart your career when you graduate in Canada. I also want to quickly provide an update on the fall 2021 semester intake, or for continuing students who are joining TRU this fall physically in Kamloops. TRU is going back to campus. We have a full return to campus plan, and most of our courses will be delivered face-to-face. Very few courses will be delivered virtually, and that will only be for students who are unable to travel to Canada due to extreme or extenuating circumstances. So in that case, we've already communicated with you, and we do look forward to host you on campus. You can see how beautiful it is, and maybe my colleagues Milap and Assi will add more to that. So without further ado, can I please invite Assetou and Milap to unmute their mics and their cameras and share yourselves to our crew here today.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, give me a minute as I quickly spotlight all three of us here. Just give me one moment. All right, there we go. So how are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for joining us today. I know it is early in the morning for you, Asi, and myself as well. We're here in BC, and pretty still in the morning for you, Milap. You're in Toronto. So maybe I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. If you can share a little bit with our audience today, where you're from, when you joined TRU, and which program you took, and maybe just share a little bit about your story. That would be great. Maybe I will volunteer who goes first. I see your cat in the background, Asi. That's amazing.
Oh, of course you do. He's just running free.
Love it. So Asi, why don't you go first?
Okay, my name is Assetou and I'm originally from Mali. I joined TRU in 2012, I believe, and I took Bachelor of Arts, specifically Sociology in Research Marketing. My journey with TRU was probably one of the best journeys I had, to be honest. TRU wasn't the school I was going to go to, but then when I met one of the representatives, her and I really bonded, and we had a conversation around going to a school where I would actually get some time from my teachers and be able to connect with them and genuinely have a great experience. And that's how she convinced me to go to TRU. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I had probably one of the best university experiences. I was involved in a lot of leadership. I got to explore a lot of my passions on the side and really got to get involved with a bunch of clubs and helped start the UN, the Model United Nations Club, which was really, really fun. And even after I graduated, I still had really great relationships with TRU, my fellow students, and now colleagues.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Asi. And I do know that a lot of things that you've been able to start at TRU are still being continued, and you've definitely left a legacy and a mark on campus. So thank you for all your contributions to the TRU.
Time. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Milap to share his thoughts.
Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Milap Datlani. I'm originally from Mumbai in India. I joined TRU in fall of 2015. I went for the postbachelor diploma program in marketing. My experience at TRU was nothing short of fantastic, because when I was looking for options to choose between the different programs at different institutes, TRU really stood out in terms of what they had to offer, in terms of the program, the location, the infrastructure, the faculty. So the choice was not very difficult, and it was easy one to make. Yeah, along the way, I did make a lot of friends, a lot of connections, and even with professors, I had a great relationship. So I was able to get a lot of good mentorship and guidance through the professors. During my time at TRU, I, just like Asi, I joined a couple of different societies as well. Tried to explore my different passions. I also ended up starting a new club, which was the Modern Marketing Club. Modern Marketing Association, along with just being a part of a lot of different other societies. So yeah, fantastic experience working with different students. And I also had the opportunity of working as a social media ambassador at TRU World, promoting just like Asi did, promoting TRU as the destination for international education.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Milap. And again, many of the things that you started as well on campus are still being run. And that's what really makes me so proud of both of you. I know both of you on a personal capacity as well as friends and, classmates back when I was a student at TRU. So for those watching, I'm an alumni myself, and I'm originally from India too. And I had the opportunity of working with Milap and Asi in different teams on campus, in different classes and different projects. And it's been years since we graduated. And when I look back, I always think of how much we were able to accomplish as students and young professionals. And I think one of the reasons we were able to do that was because of the platform that TRU did provide. And maybe if you want to go a little bit into that in terms of what platform or resources, TRU was able to provide both of you for you to showcase your talents and for you guys to shine as students. Whoever wants to take that, please go ahead and jump in.
I mean, personally, for me, it's an easier question what platforms I didn't get, to be quite honest. I'm a naturally curious person, but it really helped that I got to connect with a lot of people from TRU World. They will be like your second family, and I'm not just saying that to like add sparkle to everything. I mean that genuinely. Whether it is from the recruitment side or from the ISAs, you'll get the most support. All you need to do is ask. And even sometimes you don't have to ask, they'll suggest stuff to you. I think one of the biggest things also that was a takeaway for me is how deeply I connected with some of my professors. Just staying after class and just asking them questions, and two of them took me under their wing very early on and just kind of helped me blossom throughout my journey. So I find that that is quite helpful, and don't be afraid to try new things. That's one of the best lessons I think I learned from going to TRU, was that my professors, the ISAs, the people I worked with, whether it was Suraj or even the team that we were on for the social media ambassadors, everyone was always like, all you need to do is ask, and we're happy to help. We're happy to be here to support you and make those connections, and even try to, I would just say, try new things, because there's no reason you wouldn't be able to. And TRU makes that really available to you and gives you all the options you want.
That's awesome. And I think that's so important is, while there are so many resources and there is that platform, but if you don't have the willingness to try new things and, put yourselves out there, nothing's going to walk to you. You have to go to it.
Absolutely.
Milap, would you like to add anything to this?
No, whatever Asi mentioned, I absolutely echo all of that. But just to add to that, along with having the right sort of student network as well as the professors available, I think one of the other resources that I found personally very valuable was the career education department. So the mentoring that I got from there, any career focused advice that I gathered from there, I was able to implement that throughout my career journey as soon as I graduated. Along with that, as a part of the School of Business and Economics, I was also able to attend a lot of different business networking events, which allowed me to learn more about the different professions that are out there, as well as network with the individuals within my community. And then lastly, I would just say the student union, because of all the different societies that are under their wing, you are able to explore different vocations and careers and hobbies that allow you to grow as an individual and as a professional eventually.
That makes so much sense. And, you mentioned the word community and community engagement. And I think that's something both of you did. I remember Assetou was a part of the Kamloops Innovation Council. And Milap, you've been a part of so many different things on campus and outside of campus in the community. And you've also volunteered with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And I think, those are things that you've added to your profile. Why don't we let our viewers learn about what you guys do right now? Where do you work and what do you do?
Well, I will start. This is going to be like the most gushiest thing ever, because I genuinely love the company I work for. I am a project manager, which means that I help with a lot of technical implementations and process development and bettering of operations for a hotel company called Accidents, and also Hotel Z. So we have two chains of hotels, where one is very hip, very modern, very Instagrammable. And our other Accidents is very family oriented and very community oriented. And that was actually what I was looking for. When I was applying, I wanted to feel that feeling again, because I knew what it felt like to be supported by my community. And that was something that I wanted to maintain. So I'm busy, but it's honestly the best work, because getting to work with, especially during the pandemic, seeing how well our team has handled all of it, and even being able to push myself at my age and being in this position where I've been given all this leadership and a lot of flexibility that I would not have probably gone for if I honestly hadn't gone to TRU, because I would apply for positions that I didn't think I would get that were in leadership, and TRU always encouraged me. So I was like, why not? And it's been an amazing, amazing experience. I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's awesome. Asi, do you mind maybe sharing a little bit more about what you do in your role as a project manager?
Sure. So I do a lot of technical requirements. So whether it be developing all of the tools that we have on site, So that means bettering the experience for our guests. So now we have digital entry, which is you get your key card on your phone. We have SMS now where we're texting with our guests and making that service better. We launched a whole new restaurant in Tofino that I was a part of. And we started a new hotel in Tofino as well. Go check it out. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the things that you also get when you move to BC is that capability to move around. So that's a side note, but another thing is that I work with all of our general managers, I work with our VPs to make sure that we are pushing our company to be the best technically and even process-wise. So I help with continuous improvement, which means that we're always relooking at things and finding new ways to challenge the status quo and not be like any other hotel company in Canada.
That's amazing. And I see you're based on the island, right?
Yes. So I'm based on the island right now, but the beauty of working for a hotel chain that has about 8 properties is I can work anywhere out of BC. So that adds to the great stuff, but I'm based out of the island for now. And it's been really great to see how our industry is moving forward, specifically like right after COVID.
That's amazing. For our viewers that might not know, Vancouver Island is a huge piece of land. There's lots of cities on the island. And as he mentioned, a place called Tofino, which actually has amazing surfing opportunities, lots of beautiful coastlines. And you can actually go whale watching in Tofino, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. It's a great place to be.
That's amazing. Milap, let's talk about your experience in your career and where you started off and how that became a career for you.
Yeah, for sure. So for myself, I work as an assistant digital retail manager at Best Buy Canada. I'll probably take a couple of steps back and talk about how I got here first. So I actually initially started off working at Best Buy mobile stores in Kamloops. So I joined TRU in the fall of 2015, and I started working at Best Buy as a seasonal sales associate for the promotional period during Black Friday and Boxing Day. So I was only supposed to be there for 2 months, and it was just supposed to be like a part-time gig for me to get started with like work in Canada. So I worked for the 2 months, and then after that, they liked me as a part of their team. So I started working over there part-time while I was still going to school. After I finished the program in fall of 2017, I continued on at the store as a mobile sales lead. I worked there for a couple of more months. And as I was looking for full-time opportunities, like in my field, I had this epiphany and at the moment of realization, like I've worked at Best Buy for so long and, working in retail can be very interesting. And I had like an amazing experience working with the company. So then I started looking for opportunities within the space. As a result of that, after a couple of months, I was able to move to Vancouver to join the corporate head office team within the e-commerce space. So I started working full-time in e-commerce team from the fall of 2018. And have been working over there ever since. I've done a couple of different roles, but I'll talk more about my current role, which is the assistant digital retail manager in our digital retail team, which is essentially the e-commerce space of Best Buy Canada. So within my current space, I lead a team of e-commerce professionals that are responsible for the online performance and experience of a particular product category. For myself, as an example, I'm responsible for home theater and smart home products available at Best Buy, all things online for those products. So I work with a lot of different teams, which is the buying teams, the marketing team, the logistics team to ensure the online experiences is perfect. And then also identify different growth opportunities for these categories to increase their sales, improve the KPIs, and improve the customer experience as we go. As a part of my role, I also mentor a lot of these team members within our team to grow as professionals, maybe get to the different positions that they want to get to, and then just provide training in general as it relates to business reporting, analytics, some of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, it's an amazing work environment, and a lot of the things that I learned at TRU, a lot of things I experienced at TRU have helped me even in my current role. At TRU, diversity is a big thing. You see students from all the different walks of life, different places, and we have diversity of all kinds, and Best Buy Canada is no different. So I think working with different team members, understanding the different nuances of working with different folks, I think I've gathered that from my time at TRU, and the experience has helped me in my professional career.
That is absolutely amazing. I think your experience of converting that retail opportunity to a full-time job and now going up the ladder and taking all these management positions is really commendable, Milap. And I think that must inspire a lot of our future students here today. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Right. And I would say that like a lot of times we come from different countries and different places where you would think of a retail job as not like the most glamorous job. But it's the one thing that gets you in the workforce. It's the one thing that gets you the experience. It can be your first job. So I would take everything with an open mind. And as you can see, anything that you take on, if you work hard enough, you can get towards what you want to do in your career.
Absolutely.
Great tip. I see there's some questions in the chat, and a couple of questions around any examples or stories where TRU really outshined and took extra miles in helping students. I see some other questions like, please tell us how we can make ourselves more employable while studying the course. So we'll go into that in a minute here. Before that, I do want to share 2 videos with our audience here today. Please allow me to do that. Just give me 1 second.
Well, I started welding at the suggestion of my family and friends. Then I realized I was more passionate about business. So I decided to change my career path. Now I see myself being a successful entrepreneur. TRU has made that transition easy.
I don't have to choose between basketball or my biology degree. I get to focus on both.
I didn't really want to go to university until I discovered adventure studies at TRU. It changed the whole direction of my life.
Knowing that TRU would give me credit for the experience that I had and that I could go to school while working full-time and raising my family, it made all the difference.
All these opportunities have formed who I am today and where I might go next. It's not about going from point A to point B. It's not a straight line, but you know what? That's okay, because TRU helps you find your path, whatever it may be.
God, that was a blast from the past.
Absolutely. I do have one more video to share here. Give me a moment.
Welcome to What's on at TRU.
Ni hao ma TRU. January 18th, talk to your peers and staff about the resources and support available at TRU to help you throughout the semester.
On January 28th, watch freestyle skiers and snowboarders perform aerial stunts in front of HOL.
On January 20th, celebrate Chinese Spring Festival, also called the Chinese New Year, with friends and others at TRU.
On January 26th, more than 40 mentors from Kamloops and its surrounding areas will be here on campus to help you succeed in your career. For more great events, check out this website. Xie xie.
So there were many more videos, but these are the ones that I chose to show our viewers today. What are your thoughts?
Wow.
Blast from the past is right.
Seriously, that was a blast from the past.
Milap, you look significantly different, I have to say that.
But also, like watching Assie's video, what she says at the end, it really resonates with me as well. Like your career as a student, like your career path or your journey as a student is never A to B. Yeah. Whatever it is, like you can find your right path at TRU. Yeah. It resonated with me so much.
Yeah, I absolutely stand by what I said, even years later, because even for me, I I think one of the things that I got really bugged down by when I was at university was I felt like I had to figure everything out from the moment I got there, and you don't have to. That's the thing that, and I know it may be hard to hear as a new student coming in, because I know if I had said that to myself, I would have been like, I'm not listening to you. But the truth is that you'll find what's right for you, pun intended, you, as you go through all those experiences. Like, I didn't know I wanted to be in entrepreneurship until I started working with a bunch of different people when I was at TRU. I didn't even know I was interested in research marketing. I didn't know that that was going to lead me down this really great path that, honestly, I actually used it for the first 3 years of my career. And then it helped me kind of become a project manager, because you have to analyze all the things that aren't right. So you actually use those skills. And in that moment, I felt so bogged down. I was like, I have to know what I want to do, but you don't. That's the great thing, is that your 4 years will help you figure out that lane, because it's not a linear journey. You're going to go in scribbles. It's going to go up and down. It's going to go around you, up, down, and you'll eventually find that path. And TRU helps really well with that.
Thank you for that, Asi. And I know you took the Bachelor of Arts, which is a 4-year program, while Milap, you took the Postbachelor Diploma in Marketing, which is a 2-year program. I do see we have a couple of students here who are, in both categories. In fact, I think Perm just, posted in the chat that she's also a Postbac marketing student and wanted to know how it will help, in a sales career after completion of the course. What I'd like to do is, let you guys take the floor and maybe just share, some specific examples on, for example, Asi, you just mentioned that you learned so many things that you didn't even know about yourself. Or Milap, earlier you mentioned that, there's no set way of doing these things. But what is it that our students can do once they start studying at TRU in their, as a student? What can they do apart from the outside of their classes, to learn more about themselves, to build that Canadian experience, and to be successful in their careers? So I'll let you guys speak to this, please.
Milap, do you want to take it?
Sure, I can. Yes. So just speaking a little bit about my educational background, and the reason why I went for the program that I went for. So originally in India, I did my undergrad degree, which was in computing science. And right after that, I realized like my passion lies towards marketing and the business side of things. So I did work in a professional field in digital marketing for about 2 years. And that's when I realized it was the time to get a formal degree in marketing space. So I was looking, because I already had an undergrad degree, I was looking more for an accelerated program or like a diploma program that's more, professionally driven to a particular domain. So marketing being that one. So that was the reason why I went for this program. And I also compared very similar programs from different institutes. The reason why TRU stood out is like all the reasons that I mentioned earlier: the infrastructure, the what the program offered, along with what Kamloops had to offer. So just going back to that, the way this program helped me was in terms of courseware, because this was new to me. I didn't have an undergrad degree in business or marketing. So I learned a lot about consumer behavior, marketing research, like the traditional things that you would hope to learn. But then there was also like new courses which were more geared towards modern ways of marketing, which is social media marketing, digital marketing. I believe we have courses for e-commerce too now. So it was a good mix of the traditional ways and the modern ways, which is, I think, both of the things are very essential for you to excel and for you to learn. Alongside my courseware, of course, as I mentioned earlier, networking was really, really important, and I can't stress that enough. As someone who didn't really network with a lot of people in the beginning, I realized the value and the importance of doing that. So I picked that on towards the later portion of my program. So do make it a point, guys, to connect with, folks in your community, whether that be through physical events once they start happening in the Kamloops area, but also through LinkedIn. If after your graduation, if you intend to move to a particular city, whether that be like, say, Vancouver or Toronto or anywhere else, reach out to professionals in the field of your interest from those areas. Reach out to them for coffee chats, and you'd be surprised by the number of people that will be willing to help you out, because a lot of times we have that apprehension of reaching out to someone who doesn't really know us, and not really knowing how do you go about it, but there's more people that would be willing to help than you can imagine. I would also encourage reaching out to TRU Alumni. You can search that on LinkedIn. Students who have graduated from TRU and are now working in professional field of your interest, and connect with them. They'll be able to talk about their TRU experience and also provide you with like essential tips that you need to excel. And lastly, I know I mentioned this earlier as well, do connect with the career education department in TRU. I know I found a lot of value regarding resume writing, my cover letter, tips on networking, tips on connecting with folks, coffee chats, like all the tips and tricks around that. I got a lot of those from the career education department. So just to sum it all up, I would say like beyond your program, do a whole lot of things, explore different things that might interest you, join student clubs, network with different students on campus. Yeah, don't limit yourself just to the curriculum. There's a lot more that you can do, and doing those things are going to help you a lot as a professional.
I do have some follow-up questions before I let Assi continue this conversation. Milap, there's a question from Param. She asks, would you say it was difficult or slightly tougher to network since Kamloops is a small place as compared to bigger cities?
I would actually argue like that it was a little bit easier, because I feel like, because when you go to a small town, I think people are generally very welcoming and warm. So I think just what I would say was tricky was for me to start networking in general, because the different backgrounds that we come from, we may not be used to networking as much. So for me, that was the tricky part. But actually networking within Kamloops was much easier than anything else. But there's a lot of different networking events that are always happening in Kamloops, whether it's organized by the university or the local business associations or different organizations. So make it a point to join those events. A lot of times these community-based networking sessions also have free passes, free tickets for students, TRU students specifically. So make use of that, make use of these opportunities. People in general will be more than willing to talk to you and tell you everything that you need to know about excelling in your career. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say it's difficult at all.
Thank you, Milap. Assi, you took your bachelor's degree at TRU and you didn't really have any Canadian experience prior to taking that program. You have a lot of students here today who will not have any Canadian experience before they graduate. Some of their programs might have co-op, but what is your recommendation for somebody who has no experience before they graduate, and how should they navigate through their program and making these connections?
So for me, fun fact, I actually did not start in my original program. I was originally in the business and economics bachelor's. That was the original one that I wanted to take. I would say, number one, with your courses that are like optional, take courses that you would never ever take. So that's what put me in sociology. It was a completely random class that I was like, that sounds interesting, took that, and then I fell in love. I would also say join clubs that are on campus, because you will meet people from different experiences and they will actually start to probably help you settle a bit more, and they will have conversations with you that you probably never would have had. Would you be by yourself? Connect with your teachers. My teachers were a huge part of why I believe my university career was successful. I found mentors very early on, to be honest. Like, I think it was my first year that I found my mentors, and they stuck by me for the rest of the 4 years. And genuinely, one of the best things was they kept asking me what I actually want to do, what I'm interested in, and they encourage me to push myself outside of my comfort zone. So that's one thing that I would strongly suggest, is things that you normally wouldn't do or that you find yourself too shy to do. Don't be afraid to try those things on campus, because it's a supportive community and nobody actually knows what they're doing because for the 4 years, you're kind of just trying to figure it all out. And that's what it's about. And that will also allow you to start building skills. So through the clubs, try to put yourself in a leadership position where you have to genuinely learn skills, because those will be the things that you can put on that resume. You being able to put together a conference will be something that's very, very huge, because it shows that you have the skill set to do that. And don't be afraid to get involved with groups outside of campus. So I got involved with Gen Next. That was a really great way to challenge myself. I got involved with the Generator, where I went and learned about business and also really helped with that. And those actually give you those job skills, because for those 4 years, you can have those skills on the side. And don't be afraid to go for a position that you would never go for, because really not everybody has the experience. So why wouldn't it be you?
That's an amazing tip. And, you know, many times like employers want Canadian experience. Joining a club is Canadian experience. Being is Canadian experience. And would you both agree that that is recognized by employers as Canadian experience?
It's, yeah, 100%. Most of the skills that I had for my first job were all on campus experience. So I had the opportunity to be a resident advisor. I was a social media ambassador. So that already comes with a set of skills. The clubs that I've been involved in that were like off-campus clubs, so things like Gen Max and the Generator, those counted. And even like if you go volunteering, that does count as actual legitimate Canadian experience.
Now that I think about it, I remember when I was coming to TRU, you were already a social media ambassador, and I was actually able to settle in because, you know, you were one of my first friends in Kamloops. And then I remember 6 months later, I get a message on LinkedIn from Milap asking questions about TRU, like all the features in our Zoom session today. And that is the beauty of networking. You know, we all did a lot of networking, got to know each other outside. None of us have, like maybe Milap and I took the same program, but none of us really had anything else in common. You know, we got an opportunity to connect because of, you know, pushing ourselves and going outside our comfort zone. There are a few more questions in the chat that I want to address, but before that, I do want to share something with our audience here. So in general, there's all these opportunities that, you know, Milap and Assi both mentioned. And I know sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. How do I know where to go? Like, how do I know what opportunities exist? So TRU has something called experiential learning, and experiential learning means you're learning outside the classroom. Your classroom experience is just academic, but what we really focus on is the extracurricular and the outside your academic learning opportunities. And that's primarily why TRU has one of the highest employment rates in Western Canada, because our students are focused on academics as well as learning outside your classroom. And, you know, as Milap mentioned, because Kamloops is a medium-sized city, we actually have more opportunities. You hear about things faster. You know, TRU is a campus community. We have a beautiful university campus. So you're a part of that ecosystem. And when you're in that ecosystem, you don't have time. I guess Milap and Assi, if you want to add to that and maybe share from your experiences.
Yeah, so it's having that community is really, really strong. But another thing is you have the TRU seal of approval in the town. Because Kamloops is very much, I mean, I would call it a university town at this point. Everyone is really happy to just help you because they know that you're going, like that you're a stranger not only to this country, but also to their city. So they're happy to help you. So reaching out to any organization, they will reach back out to you. They're just happy to help you. And I know it's uncomfortable and it's overwhelming, but if you just ask, you will be given the response that you want, because everyone is just here to help. And if they don't know how to help you, they will send your information to someone who can actually support you. And it's a really great way, because that's how I got my job. My first job was because a former student at TRU had worked at that previous job. And once I told them, not only did I happen to volunteer in one of my clubs with that former student, and I was also an alumni from TRU, and they had met me through some of TRU's events, that's how I got my first job. And that just kind of pushed the envelope for me to get that opportunity.
That's absolutely amazing. Milap, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Ashley covered most of it. Within the city, like TRU has been in Kamloops for a while. The local residents that have been around, like they understand, we have a good mix of international students and domestic students. So they do understand like how we have such a diverse student base from all different walks of life. In a lot of different ways, it's also beneficial for the local community and local businesses to leverage the experience that you might have from anywhere else in the world, right? And while you're still a student, you can help those businesses out on a pro bono basis, or you can like reach out to them for internships or just mentorship in general. And then yeah, they would be more than willing to help you out. TRU is situated in Kamloops, which is, I would say, it's a very warm and welcoming city. This is a complete side note. Like I've seen a lot of different campuses across Canada, and kid you not, TRU has one of the most beautiful campuses across like the country.
Yeah.
The views are scenic, you've got nature around you, but on top of that, like the campus itself has great infrastructure. As you can see, right, Van Suraj campus has great infrastructure as well. If you want to spend some time, to focus on something or learn or study by yourself, there's like study rooms available. If you want to have like group discussions and work on group projects, there's like meeting rooms available. There's Wi-Fi across the campus. So like these little things also provide you with like the right support system while you're a student to, be able to excel as a student.
I have a question for you guys. And, this is something that usually international students can maybe consider, maybe they don't. But many times we've heard people say, oh, most students are just like a number to a school. Is that how you guys felt, or was it different? Maybe if you want to share a little bit about that.
I would say absolutely not. Like I felt that I was an individual, I was recognized, and yeah, the uniqueness that you bring from the different parts of the world is definitely recognized, valued, and encouraged. So yes, like a lot of universities have like huge number of students, and you would just be a number, but TRU still being a relatively big university in terms of like the size of students or size of student base, you're still recognized. It was very interesting for me to know like that the professors know me on a first name basis. That doesn't happen. I'm telling you, this doesn't happen in a lot of different schools and like different parts of the world, as well as in Canada. The amount of professors that knew me on a first name basis, that itself tells you like, how easy it is to be recognized and how valued you can feel at the university.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I see we have a question from Rachel for you. What skills are most useful in project management, and what are employers interested in when recruiting for a project management role?
Oh, that's a great question. So to be honest with you, I would say get a bunch of different experiences, because as a project manager, you have to learn how to be flexible and adaptable. So knowing different things will be the most useful. I would say probably like your skills as an organizer are going to be the biggest skills that you have, and the ability to deal with people. I jokingly called myself a cat herder. If you know how cats can be, you'll understand the joke. It just means that sometimes you have to deal with very difficult interactions. So I would say probably find a course that has some form of leadership experience, being able to handle teamwork, which you'll get a lot of experience in while working in groups, period. If you are really interested in pursuing project management as a further career, I would say try to take your CPM. It's just a certificate that shows that you know how to do project management. You don't necessarily need the PMI. A lot of people go for it, but I would say don't do it just because it limits your view. So my biggest challenge to you will be not to, keyhole yourself, because unfortunately, if you do that, it just won't go too well. So that's my advice. And also make sure that if you want to be interested in project management, when you are working with groups, try to find specifically groups that tend to organize a lot of events, so that way that shows up on your resume, because it shows organization, that you are managing and juggling different things.
That's awesome. Milap, our next question is for you. Milap, would you say it'll be difficult career-wise for someone who doesn't have experience related to the course back in their home countries?
So that's a great question. I think it applies really well for myself. So as I mentioned earlier, my experience from back home, the education was in computing science, and then my professional work experience was in digital marketing. So I'd already seen like two different, domains being explored right over there. And when I moved to TRU, I went for the marketing program because I wanted a formal degree in marketing as well. So to answer your question, I think if you work towards leveling up your resume, leveling up your skill set, I don't think it should be difficult at all. And just to add further context to it, like I had the background in computing science and now a professional degree in marketing and work experience in marketing. Now I've merged the two and I've moved towards e-commerce. So I've taken a lot of things from both the domains, and it actually has helped me in my career in e-commerce because I understand a lot of technology related products and how the technology is developed, implemented because of my undergrad degree from back home, but I also understand the marketing aspect of things. How do you promote different things? And e-commerce really is the combination of like technology and marketing. So I was able to translate that into a career. So if you have a unique background, leverage it as your strength. Don't think of it as something that is going to stop you or hold you back. Just add more skills on top of that. And it just depends on you how you can translate that into a successful career. And along the way, all the different resources that we mentioned, the career education department, the different networking events, like connecting with different professionals, do all of those things. These are the small steps that you take that will eventually lead to a successful career after your graduation.
Can I add a little bit to that from a perspective of recruiting? Just because I've had the opportunity to work with our team on recruiting people from different walks of life. One of the things that we do look for when we are recruiting for new students, if you, not new students, but new hires, if you have that experience from your past, please bring it up during interviews. I know that it sounds very daunting, but genuinely bring it up during the interviews because it will be valued. It will be valued experience. You can write it down in your resume if you want, but bring it up when you do get that interview process. And don't be afraid to list those skills of the things that you did before arriving to Canada, because yes, to you, that may seem like a minimal thing that you have along your journey because you're just not sure if it's valued here, but it actually is when you are being interviewed by a company, or even if you are filling out just like a recruitment sheet.
Thanks, Assi. Assi, my next question is for you. How did you handle social anxiety and the culture shock in a new country you have never been in? And I don't think anybody else can answer this question better because you've lived in a few different countries. So if you want to share about your experiences.
So first thing is I've learned this the hard way, but please take care of your health. It will be the first, it's really hard because not only are you changing foods, you're changing a completely different lifestyle, but try to take care of your mental health. So check in with yourself. There are mental health services at TRU. Please take advantage of them. Sometimes they just have sessions where you just hang out. And sometimes that's all you need when you feel very alone, because you will feel alone because you've been completely displaced and it's been a huge change. Try to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. Like I said, when you get involved with clubs, even at orientation, sit next to people, start talking to them, because I think some of my longest lasting friendships, I've met them since my orientation. Like 2 of my closest friends were my friends that I sat next to at orientation. And try to start forming those community bonds and even get involved with the clubs that are the same as your own home country. So get involved with the India Club, for example, with Suraj. There's the Pan-African Association. Get involved with them. Try to build that community because you will need that community support. With social anxiety, I would say if it gets really bad, maybe do 1 event per week and make sure you have that alone time, but make sure that you check in with yourself consistently. If you're not doing well, go to your ISA and explain to them what's going on, because they will understand, because they've been in your shoes at some point in their lives as well. And even go to the person who recruited you. Say, hey, I'm most comfortable with you. Can you send me resources so that I don't feel this way. But take care of your health by eating good, because listen, I know you moved to Canada and you just want to go to Wendy's, Tim Hortons, McDonald's, but don't do that every day because you will regret it. And it will also contribute to the social anxiety. So learning how to navigate that is building that balance for yourself. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Thank you for that, Assi. And we have something at TRU called Therapy Dog Thursdays, where you can spend time with puppies on Thursday. So there's amazing opportunities like that. There's two gyms on campus. There's lots of recreational activities. I remember as a student, I was obviously very organized, both of you know that. And I used to have like a calendar of events, and I used to like put things down, and there were so many events on campus that there's no way you can participate in all of them. And the Pan-African Club would have its own event, the India Club would have its own event, the Pakistan Club would have its own event. So every different culture had events. And then there were interest-based events. So there's marketing event, the Model UN, for example, there's this conference on research. There's so many different things happening. So I think you want to put yourself out there, but at the same time, you want to protect yourself and have your me time, and still you want to work and you want to study. So this is, I guess, that experience in life where you want to indulge in everything, but you want to learn how to balance it out.
Yeah. And also, don't be afraid to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. That's the thing. I know you want to say yes to everything, because I was one of those people. I wanted to say yes to everything. But the reality of the situation is you also have to give yourself time to process everything that you've been through, because uprooting your life to move somewhere, whether it be for 2 years or 4 years or longer than that, or if this is where you want to live for the rest of your life, it still takes a bit of processing time. So you don't have to say yes to everything, because the events will still be here if you choose not to go. It's just that you are putting yourself as a priority first.
Thank you, Assi. I have a couple more questions here, so we're going to try to go through them in the next 10 minutes. Are you guys good on time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. So the next question here is, I heard TRU is providing co-op opportunities. Can we use to improve our career experience? Before I direct that question, I do want to say co-op is available only for select programs. So it is primarily available for bachelor's degree programs, such as Bachelor of Arts, Business, Computing Science, Software Engineering, Bachelor of Science. International students can take up to 4 semesters of co-op. I think we will hold that question for another time, because I don't believe either of you got the chance to take co-op in your programs. But maybe what you can share is, if your program does not have co-op, what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Suraj mentioned, my program did not have co-op, but not having co-op doesn't really stop you from getting the job that you want, your dream job, right? So I think it always goes back to the same couple of things that we have mentioned along the way, the networking with the professional, even the professional societies on campus. I believe there's Enactus and a couple of other, the Modern Marketing Association. We can interact with these kind of student clubs as well, because a lot of these student clubs also have associations or links outside of school, like with different businesses that can get you in touch with, like, the business owners or different companies that they work with on a pro bono basis. So in a way, it's not like a credit-based co-op like experience, but at least you're still able to do similar or closer to co-op kind of work with those kind of professional companies. Along with that, you obviously have the option of working part-time as an international student. So whether that be retail, whether that be any kind of field or domain, you can still learn something from there and see how that can be applied to the profession that you hope to move towards, or even grow within that organization. Like using my own example, like so even when you join a lot of these retail organizations, there are skill development programs that you can do along the way. So I wouldn't say like don't discount the retail job as just something that you haven't seen being done like very often in your country back home, but make the most out of that experience. It could be sometimes I would argue it could be a lot more valuable than what a co-op program would be able to offer you, depending on your situation.
So just to add to that as well, connecting with my professor was probably, I think, the best decision I made. So for me, my program had co-op, but it wasn't what I wanted. So working with my professor, actually, she was able to get a grant to have me be her assistant. So I started working as her assistant, as a research assistant, specifically around equity and diversity and all of that. But another thing, as for an organization that does do co-op, so on the flip side, as a recruiter again, because when we're talking about those strategies, one of the things that you do want to do when you are doing a co-op is find the company that makes the most sense to you. So when we are looking for co-op students, it just means we just want to see where your career path is going to take you. And honestly, I would say don't be afraid to go through it. You'll learn a lot of things. I know that I worked for 2 companies that had co-op students, and every single time the goal was to make sure that they got to experience every single team so that they would eventually figure out where they actually really wanted to go. So I would say connecting with your teachers is going to be really useful, because they can actually act as a reference for you. And the second is that they can vouch for you. So that was another big thing that helped me in my career, was when I was originally out of university, I was like, well, my reference letters are just teachers, but actually that was a really great reference because they explained the skills that I had. They actually also helped me to really finesse my resume and all of my files for application.
That's an amazing.
Echo that too, because even when I graduated as a new student, in my references, I had one of my professors and one of my retail store managers. So that really helps.
That's awesome. Milap, there's actually a student here that currently works part-time for Best Buy. And his question is, how can we go up the ladder when it comes to organizational structure and hierarchy in a company in alignment to Best Buy? What will be your advice to go up the ladder?
So that's a great question. I'm not sure. I think I'm connected to Aditya on LinkedIn, so I can have a further conversation over there as well. But just to touch on this at a very high level, I think initiative and effort, that's very important. So even when you're starting off with like an entry-level retail role, I started off as a seasonal. I was only supposed to have that job for 2 months, and now it's like fun fact, like I've been with Best Buy for almost 6 years now. I'll complete 6 years in November. So something that was just supposed to be 2 months has turned into like a great journey like this. So effort and initiative would be the big thing. Be good at what you're supposed to do within that job, but also express your career goals and what you hope to do after your graduation, even if you choose to stay within Best Buy. So a lot of these organizations have their internal websites where you can see what are the different career opportunities. You need to explore those and see what resonates with you. There's also regional training development specialists that can help you with this career transition. So just try to learn more about the roles, even if you're looking to stay within the organization, learn more about what those roles are. Connect with those individuals over LinkedIn, ask them what their day-to-day looks like, what sort of background did they have to get any certifications. And once you're done with your program, once you graduate and graduate and ready to work full-time, if you're hoping to move towards the corporate side of things, then you can express that to your manager and also start reaching out to recruiters. That's how it went about for me. But for Aditya, I can connect with you offline, and I'll also share my LinkedIn profile over here. So anyone else who has any other burning questions after this session, feel free to connect.
Thank you, Milap. I appreciate that. I will ask you guys for your preferred mode of connection at the end of the session. To conclude, I do want to invite both of you to share your thoughts and to inspire our students, how to maximize your TRU experience. Milap, you've done so many things on campus, outside of campus. We've already discussed so many of those things today. Assi, I also wanted to mention you were the resident advisor at TRU Res, and you were involved in a lot of things in your 4 years.
Yeah.
So both of you have done so many things on campus, and you've still had your personal lives. It's not like you compromised anywhere or in any bit of it. Of course, there was some sacrifice that everybody has to make for the grind. But overall, you guys make really good examples for driven and successful students who were able to graduate and find jobs and were happy with their experience. So maybe if you want to share your final thoughts or your inspiring thoughts for our students, how they can maximize their TRU experience, that would be really helpful. Who wants to go first? Assi?
Oh, of course. Okay. So, gosh, the best thing I can tell you, genuinely from my experience, is don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. The world is your oyster, genuinely. And from my experience at TRU, like Suraj said, from the moment I got there, I think I got involved starting my second semester. That was mostly because my first semester was trying to find my footing. And from then on, I just kept getting involved. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. And when you think you can't do it, just push through it. I promise you it'll be worth it on the other side. There's an entire community right behind you. They're here to support you. They're here to catch you if you fall. And they're here to also just show you new things that you never would have thought of. So don't be afraid to make the most of that. Make some of the best friends, because trust me, they will be the friends that you will have for the rest of your life. And build that community for yourself. Have the best relationship with your ISAs, your teachers, your peers, like the people from mental health, because those will, trust me, you will thank me after this. In the long run, you will thank me, because university is stressful, and it's okay that it's stressful. It's stressful, it's messy, but it's also amazing, rewarding. And it's not from point A to point B, if I can reference that video. It's truly just going to be a journey that you will find yourself enjoying. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're on a bullet train, but trust me, you'll make it. And so don't be afraid, because they have your back. They absolutely have your back. And I have your back. So feel free to reach out to us, because TRU alumni are here for that. Like, we know what it feels like. So we have your back. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you need any references or any connections to people in the industry, we're here for you. And it's a community that lasts even after you're done.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Milap.
Yes. How do I match that energy? But I think Assi did cover a lot of it. What I would say, like, the big takeaway for me after my graduation was, you gotta be more than your degree. Like, degree is one thing, it's one thing that you have on paper, but your student experience, what you learn, how you grow, is just more than your degree. So be more than your degree. Go out there, network with different students, join different clubs, make the most out of this experience that you would have. Yes, it might be a very unique experience depending on where you come from. For myself, I came from a city of like millions of people, and Kamloops was a lot close-knit, and it was a city of like less than 100,000 people. So it was a bit of a shock for me as well. But the way the city welcomed me, the way the community welcomed me, I felt I was a part of the community. So make the most out of it. Join different volunteer experiences. Go out there, talk to people. You might think of it, you are new out there, and it might seem like a little bit overwhelming, or it might feel daunting. But trust me on this. Like, there's a lot of more students that are in the same boat as you. So as Assi mentioned, like connect with these students even at your orientation, and they might end up being like your best friends for life. So yeah, I mean, TRU does have a lot to offer. It just echoing the same things that I've said earlier. Just make the most out of that experience. And
That's awesome. I am really grateful for both of you to be here today and for sharing your thoughts, because I think you make great role models for future students and for current students as well. And I'm really glad both of you invited our students to connect with you if they want to seek support or have more questions. What would be the best mode of communication for you guys? Do you prefer them to connect over LinkedIn, Instagram, email? What do you prefer?
I would say LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn or Instagram.
All right. So if you don't mind, can you add your LinkedIn links or just your name in the chat so that our viewers can connect with you? That's awesome. And thank you so much, everybody, for for joining us today. And I hope you learned from this session and it was helpful. Just want to say thank you, everyone, once again, and have a great day or a good night or a good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you, and take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.